If you want to do magic, you got to play by the rules. When it comes to spiritual work, magie, there's rules and regulations. Depending on where you go, these rules vary. According to where you reside or where you go. These rules and regulations are set in place so that you can protect yourself as well as allow the work to proceed. Prime example, when you do a binding spell, it is as if you've made a circle around yourself and the person you desire to be with. You can't step outside of that circle, because if you do, you will suffer consequences. What do I mean by stepping outside of the circle? I mean going into relations with someone outside of that contract. If you're looking for a god ring, you've come to the right place. Street sweeper, Medusa domination ring, Chouette étoile. Whatever you're looking for, you've come to the right place. We have everything. If you're interested, the link for the contact is in the description. So if you go sleep with someone, now what happens? Days later, you may find that you get into an accident. I remember one lady, she had a job going on, which was a binding work, and she went and slept with another man. She developed a tumor in her vagina. See, these things happen. And this is why some spiritualists let their clients know from the door what not to do to prevent things like this from happening. Rules and regulations in spiritual work are universal. I remember when I was a youngster, I would hear stories about people in the South being told to dispose of work, specific locations, and not to look back. I've even heard of people saying to burn or do your work low or high. All these things are rules and regulations. By not following these, you can find yourself in very bad predicaments. The spell can even backfire on you. Rules and regulations are there to protect you. It's like crossing the street. There's a way to cross the street, and there's a way not to. If you try to cross the street on a red light, there's a possibility that you will be hit by a car. Same thing with spiritual work. If you want the spell to work, you got to follow the rules and regulations. When I first started on the internet, I remember there was a client that came to me and I gave her some work, and what happened was she became impatient. So what she started doing was watching videos on the internet. And those of you who've been following me for years, you've heard this story before. But for those who haven't, I'll give you the details. So this lady, she became frustrated with sitting and waiting. So what she did was she started to look up videos about something that I was doing, something similar that I was doing. So what she did was she started trying to implement what she saw in the videos into the work that I gave her. What ended up happening was she went to a gym and she was lifting weights. One of the weight fell off of the bars that she was working with, and fell on her foot and broke her foot. See, when you go to a spiritualist and they give you rules and regulations, those rules apply to them and them only. By you stepping outside the guidelines, you're putting yourself at risk. The rules and regulations that you get from a spiritualist pertain to them and their work only.